Hello and welcome to the NorseForce Valhalla Cup Series live from Talladega. Here for race number 18 of the series. It's going to be a good one here. The Talladega 210, brought to you by our sponsors Crockett Creek Beef Jerky, Next Level Racing, the ButtKicker, as well as Blaze Pizza. You can check out all those sponsors in the lower right corner. We'll be there all night long, but going to be an interesting race as the drivers are currently in the qualifying session here tonight. We've got a lot of heavy hitters reporting in to the race tonight. And tonight is the final race before the playoffs begin. And some drivers are going to look to lock their way into the grid, and some will try to hold on to their spot to advance into those playoffs. Let's take a look at our point standings coming into tonight's race so you can see where your favorite drivers stand. So Anthony Burrows comes in, your points leader, 5 wins on the season, and those top 9 drivers are locked in on points, so no worries on their end in terms of advancing. They are all locked in here. The only drivers on the bubble are going to be 10th through 14th. And Malik Ray not going to be here tonight. He's racing in the Coca-Cola Series, that brand new sponsored series, the top pro series here in iRacing. He will be over there tonight, so it looks like he is not going to be advancing, even with the 2 victories on the season, just coming up a bit short points-wise. So unfortunate for Malik that he won't be able to make it, but he is off to bigger and better things for the rest of the season. Eric Royce comes in just 2 points behind Connor Horn, so that is going to be a battle for that last spot in the playoffs, and we'll have to see if Eric Royce is here. And I am not seeing Eric on the racetrack, so we'll have to see if he joins before everything gets started. It's going to be an interesting battle there. Connor Horn. Trying to see if Connor is here. I don't see Connor on track either, so we'll have to see if he reports in for tonight's race. Kirk Marble is here, currently 11th on the qualifying grid, and then Zach Nichols currently sits 2nd on the qualifying grid. Both of them in and looking to advance based on just starting the race tonight. But you can see there, 15th on back, going to be eliminated coming into tonight's event. Jimmy Mullis also in the Coca-Cola Series, not going to be racing here tonight. Wade Hustad, Ryer LaPrade, John Furness, Josh Lambert, and Michael Jeans also eliminated from playoff contention. It'll be just the 12 drivers at the top going to be advancing after tonight's race here at Talladega. Let's see who else is on track qualifying. Looks like Donovan Strauss here in the number 51 machine. Let's bring up our qualifying ticker. Fastest time is Kirk Marble at 52.727, so good lap there from Kirk as he jumps from 11th to the top spot on his 2nd lap. And it should be a pretty fun event here. We got a few drivers joining in at the last moment. It looks like we will have close to 25 drivers, so going to be a pretty decent sized field. And we'll have to see how these guys do with a brand new update to the tire package, the draft package here as well. Going to make for a little bit of different style drafting. I've heard from some of the drivers that it's a bit slower to catch up to the cars in front, as Eric Royce does get on the racetrack. He is here. Connor Horn also does join the servers, so both of them will be fighting it out for that final playoff position. Just 2 points separating them in the standings in 12th and 13th. We'll have to see what happens there, but should be a fun battle throughout the evening to watch those two fight it out. Derek Justice is here on track as well, and waiting to go out there and get his qualifying lap started in the Baskin-Robbins number 31 machine. And Derek came up so close to a victory at Daytona. He did capture a victory at Bristol, and we'll see if he is able to capture win number 2 on the season here at Talladega. But it has been a fun season here so far in the NorseForce Valhalla Cup Series. Regular season is coming to a close tonight, and the playoffs will begin next week. So going to be a fun series of races there. But we brought you every single race here on VSpeed, And if you've enjoyed the broadcast in the past and want to stay up to date with what we are doing, please consider following or subscribing here on Twitch. You can hit that bell icon or hit that notification icon and stay notified of when we go live throughout the week. It's every Wednesday here in the NorseForce Valhalla Cup Series. You can also find race replays and other interesting automotive content on YouTube at VSpeed Media. You can also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where we post race announcements as well as other racing world news and so much more. So check us out on all of those platforms. And we want to introduce a new sponsor here tonight. It's Below the Double Yellow. It's a brand new podcast for NASCAR fans by NASCAR fans. And you can find that over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify or wherever you like to listen to your podcasts. So check that out. They will be posting their first episode in the near future. They just have a test run up there right now, but very excited to be sponsored by those guys. And we are, in return, also sponsoring and presenting that podcast to you. So check them out. That is Below the Double Yellow. You can find that on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But back on the racetrack, looks like Connor Horn is putting in his lap time now. Looks like he will not get a second lap in. He will be starting from the 14th position. And that is going to do it for our qualifying here tonight. Let's go to our starting grid and see where your favorite drivers are starting tonight. And that is, here we go. On the starting grid, starting on the pole, it's going to be Mr. Kirk Marble, the number 61 Scooby-Doo machine, rolling off on that pole position. A 52.727, great lap time for the driver, just inside the cut line here in the point standings. Dylan Parker going to be rolling off on his outside, and Dylan looking for a victory here and try and sweep the Superspeedway races in the Valhalla Cup Series. Starting on row number 2, it's going to be Zach Nichols, followed by Nicholas Short, 3rd and 4th positions. 5th will be Chris Samard. Parker Tatro making his first start to the series, going to be rolling off in the 6th position. In 7th, it'll be points leader Anthony Burrows looking for another win. Donovan Strauss going to be rolling off in the 8th spot here tonight. In 9th, it'll be Matt Kemp, the number 48 car, and Josh Peak rolling off in the 10th position in that number 3 machine. Keith Mayato going to be starting in the 11th spot. Ryan Libby rolling off in 12th position here tonight. Eric Royce comes in 13th in points, and he will be starting 13th on the grid. Connor Horn, his points competitor, comes in 12th in the standings, going to be rolling off 14th here alongside Mr. Royce, and that will be fun to watch. They'll be right next to each other at the beginning here. Ryan Doucette starting in 15th. Joseph Sizek going to be starting in the 16th position. In 17th, it'll be Ian Smith. 18th is going to be Jaden Kratacci. In 19th, it'll be Presley Gilson. And rounding out the top 20 is Jacob Locklear in the number 84 machine. Tyler Logan going to be rolling off in 21st position. Derek Justice starting in the 22nd position. Morgan Baird rolling off in 23rd. And Lawrence Bridges going to be starting in 24th. And that is going to do it for our field here. 24 drivers headed up by Mr. Kirk Marble, the number 61. And go ahead and cheer on your favorite driver in chat. Let them know you're there, and we will give you a shout out on the broadcast and let the drivers know that you're cheering for them. You want to check out tonight's track conditions: 84-degree air temp and 92-degree track temp. So going to be pretty slick, but should be plenty of grip with these high downforce spoilers on these Cup cars. We'll have to see how things go for the drivers out here tonight. Heard that the draft package is a bit different. There's quite a bit more drag when you're all by yourself, and it takes a little bit longer to suck up to the cars in front of you, so that will change things here and may determine when you make your final move in this race. And it is going to be an 80-lap event here, so going to be plenty of time to lay back and make your pit stops, get yourself in position to have a shot at the end, and that is all that matters at these racetracks. Once again, we want to thank all the sponsors coming into tonight's race. That is the ButtKicker, Next Level Racing, Crockett Creek Beef Jerky, and Blaze Pizza. And we'll run commercials for them throughout the event, so you'll learn more about each and every one of those sponsors, but want to thank them for sponsoring the series here and allowing these broadcasts to happen. As the pace car is pulling down to the left side of the track, headed towards the pit lane, Kirk Marble, Dylan Parker going to lead the field to the green flag here for race number 18 and the final race of the regular season. What a season it has been. Getting ready to get things underway here from Talladega. Green flag in the air, and we are underway. A pretty even start by the front row, but looks like things are a bit gathered up on the bottom. The top lane has some separation. Looks like the driver's already dropping to the inside. And we'll see how long it takes for the top line to get organized as Chris Samard jumps out now. He goes to the high line, and alongside the number 44, Zach Nichols, who's giving a big push to Kirk Marble, but down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Chris Samard puts the nose out in front, the V-Speed Camaro, with a push from points leader Anthony Burrows in the 51 of Donovan Strauss. Also in line, Zach Nichols dropping out. Looks like he doesn't like what he sees, or maybe going to the pit lane. And Matt Kemp along with him. Very interesting strategy. I have not seen a call like that in all my days of both broadcasting and racing. Very unique as they take it to the pit lane here. Maybe going to top off with fuel. Nope, they just run through their box, run through the pit lane, and going to continue on their way. That puts Anthony Burrows out in front now with Donovan Strauss on the outside. A bizarre move here at the start of this race puts those top two contenders at the back of the pack now, nearly half a lap down. We have Troy, Damien cheering on Ryan Libby in the chat. Also, Cody Kennedy cheering on Kirk Marble, and the pole sitter back to 6th already. Just 2 laps in as we cross the line there. Lap number 3 goes up on the board. Donovan Strauss leads the way on the outside along Anthony Burrows. Chris Samard right down on the inside there, giving a push to the 62. And Dylan Parker up in the 3rd lane here. Looks like he got pushed out of line. He is going to the back. So no desire for the 25 to lead here early. He knows he's got that victory at the Superspeedway, and he knows how he got it. So maybe going to try and use some of the same strategy and just wait till the end to strike. As out in front, Anthony Burrows is leading. The 51 of Donovan Strauss on the outside. And then nose to tail about 5 rows deep. It is too wide. And then it goes back single file, and then a little bit more double file behind that. So nobody trying the 3rd lane really as a strategy to move forward. So probably going to be a bit of double wide with the smaller field here. And then when it comes to crunch time, we're starting to get organized before pit stops. We may see some 3 wide. Down the long back straightaway, the 62 machine gets the nose out in front here in turns 3 and 4. Chris Samard, the 37, behind him. He's alongside the 99 machine of Nicholas Short, sporting the new McDonald's paint scheme on that Camaro, as he tries to find his way forward. But once again, about 5 rows deep, double wide. Kirk Marble, your pole sitter here in the 5th position. Wondering how he went from 1st to 5th in such a short time, and now kind of boxed in. Looking from Keith Mayato, who has the 3 of Josh Peaks, who's outside Kirk Marble right there off the nose in the Cartoon Network Camaro. And everybody keeping their composure so far. We saw a little bit of aggressiveness in the practice session before the race, but it looks like no one driving like that right now. Everybody's staying in line and perfectly fit to stay where they are. As we have a few cars starting to come up from the back. Derek Justice hanging out back here. He is the last car in this pack. Just over 1 second behind the leader. So about 20 cars under a blanket, 1.1 seconds, the difference from first to 19. And Matt Kemp all the way back here in a 3-car pack with Zach Nichols and Parker Tatro. They are the last drivers on the track, currently 25.9 seconds back, and only losing a little bit of time to the field in front of them, but not really much at all. That time by losing about 0.6. So it will make a difference with them just running in this 3-car pack, but may be able to avoid the wreck at the start of this. We're hearing that the 46 machine was robbed last night and was not able to catch that race. But Ryan Libby, definitely a solid driver, and looking to make a name for himself here in the Valhalla Cup Series. We're used to seeing Ryan over in the Modified Series. But he has been running here in the Cup Series since that came to an end. Things still double file, about 4 or 5 rows deep. And we've got some stragglers hanging on the top line. There is Ian Smith up there, a few cars back. And also the 25 machine of Dylan Parker, who went from the outside and front row, now back to 18th position. He's got Derek Justice, and these two finished 1-2 at Daytona. Derek Justice and Dylan Parker. Dylan edging out for the victory. 3 cars within 7 1/1000ths of a second. Just an incredible finish that we saw at Daytona. Derek Justice not on the winning end, but definitely a solid drive for him from that speedway. Here we see Jaden Kratacci, the number 11 machine, making another start here in the series, looking for a little bit more success than his previous starts. See what he can do here at Talladega. Kind of a track where you have to get a little bit lucky, but there's definitely a specific skill involved in knowing what line to pick and when to pick it. Let's see if Jaden has that skill here on the super speedways as he comes in. Just 2 starts on the season. His best finish being last week at New Hampshire with the 10th place run. He did complete, I believe, every lap in that race. So just 2 starts and finishes of 11th and 10th right now, running in a 16th position. Jaden looking to get his best finish of the season here at Talladega. We'll see what he can do. Jacob Locklear up here in the 84 machine. I don't believe we've seen Jacob here this season, so making his first start in the 84 Lowe's machine. A great looking paint scheme. I've got a die cast of that right here on my desk, just not in the Camaro, the old Chevy SS. So cool looking race car for sure. As he currently rides in the 13th position. Dylan Parker starting to draft up behind him, but at the front it is still Anthony Burrows and Donovan Strauss, but Strauss leading the way. Started in the 8th spot. He's led 6 of the 9 laps that have been run here. And Chris Samard now charging to the outside. Chris trying to lead another lap as he gets alongside, but not going to lead this one. Just about a half car length behind, but getting a huge push from Nicholas Short. And Nicholas Short started in the 4th position, currently running in 3rd or 4th, depending on how you look at it. But giving a huge push here to Chris Samard as they go down the back straightaway, the 37 with the nose out in front. And a great push down that straightaway, but Samard not able to make the pass. As here comes the 51 back to the inside, getting the shove from the 62 of Anthony Burrows and the 61 of Kirk Marble. And side by side they go, now 6 rows deep among the top 12, and then a little bit of a distance back to 13th place. That is Connor Horn, the number 8. That brand new Coca-Cola Zero Sugar paint scheme. And Connor looking for a solid run here to lock himself into the playoffs. As he comes in. He comes in here just 2 points above the cut line. And Connor has had an up and down season. 10 starts so far. 7 top 10s, 4 top 5s. He does have a pole and 40 laps led here, but he had the speed early in the season to capture some victories. His luck has not gone his way. And the last time we saw Connor out here was at Watkins Glen, where he finished in 3rd position. As we see Anthony Burrows now tucked down to the apron. Burrows just dropping back here. He's letting these guys by. Maybe a little bit of overheating going on for the points leader, who is going to capture the regular season championship no matter what. Comes in with a huge points lead over Derek Justice, who just passes him on the racetrack. So Derek looking for another victory, which would be a bit of a confidence booster going into the playoffs here. He's just got the 1 win at Bristol. So many close calls, close finishes for Derek, and he has earned his way up to 2nd position in points with the consistency, and he's driving out some of these races where he has heavy damage, capturing as many points as possible. He finds himself in that 2nd place position. Out front, we are now 3 wide. About 3 or 4 rows deep. Kirk Marble with the car out in front, 53. Joseph Sizek up on the high line in that good wrench Ford Mustang. A little bit of an oxymoron there. Chris Samard now jumps to the 3rd lane, abandoning the 61 in the middle. We'll see if Samard can get the push to the front. But just not even 1/4 of the way through this race, and we're already going 3 wide racing. Hello, Fat Earth Comedy. Thanks for joining. Hope you are enjoying the broadcast. We are currently 15 laps into race number 18 of the NorseForce Valhalla Cup Series. And these drivers racing it up 3 wide. And really going for it already. Chris Samard trying to get the nose out in front here, coming out of turns 3 and 4. He has the push from Joseph Sizek, Kirk Marble, with help from Nicholas Short trying to fight back in the middle lane. Donovan Strauss down low. Through the tri-oval they come. Who is going to have the spot at the line? Looks like it is going to be Kirk Marble. A nice solid push there, using a little bit of side draft to his benefit over the 51 of Donovan Strauss, who touches the apron. And he has Keith Mayato pushing him towards the front. And a huge push through 1 and 2. They take the lead back. And it will be interesting to see which line is more dominant here as the runs progress. Looks like the inside line pretty hard to beat at the moment as it once again finds its way to the front. Kirk Marble unable to fight back, doesn't have a whole lot of help behind him. A little bit of space between the 99 and the 3 machines, trying to get him towards the front. Now they sync up a little bit better. That 3rd lane starting to drift back. Chris Samard back to the 9th position, and he has pushes from 53 and 28, but not quite enough steam rolling on the high line to get to the front. As now Sizek looks like he's going to jump down and abandon the 37. Samard now left all by himself on the high line, as the 2 bottom lanes are the primary lanes at the moment. Just 2 cars up in the high line, Dylan Parker and Chris Samard. And Anthony Burrows jumps up there now, as he gives a bit of a push through the corner to Dylan Parker. The Samard jump back up in line, or is he content to run in the second lane? And it looks like Samard will not come out in front just yet, but out in front, Donovan Strauss, Kirk Marble showing the way here, just 17 laps into this race. We are going to go side by side with the green flag, and we will be right back.
Okay, we're going to keep this quick.
Because at Blaze Pizza,
artisanal quality at crazy fast speed is what we're all about.
Fresh dough made from scratch daily.
Walk the line and choose any toppings you'd like.
It's all one price.
Then it's just 180 seconds in our blazing hot oven
For fast bar perfection.
That's Blaze Pizza. Sound good?
Then come check us out and build your own pizza at Blaze Pizza.
With the ButtKicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. ButtKicker, the future is feeling.
Back to the racing action. Donovan Strauss, Kirk Marble continue to fight it out at the front of the pack. Keith Mayato and Nicholas Short giving them some pushes down the back straightaway here. And trying to stay in line now. The third line coming up, Josh Peak, the 46 of Ryan Libby trying to make some work happen up there on the high line. No progress yet though, as the middle lane going to pull back away. They're probably going to drop down in line. Chris Samard trying to catch up there and give them some support, but not able to pull up just yet. As Field works through the tri-oval here, just past a quarter of the way through the race. And hope you guys are enjoying the broadcast here. But three wide at the front. Kirk Marble, Donovan Strauss, and the three machine of Josh Peak. Peak running that high line with a push from Ryan Libby, actually starting to make some progress now. But when will they get there, and will it be sustainable with just the two cars up top? Doesn't seem like that would be possible. But stranger things have happened as they are hooked up nose to tail. Big push from Ryan Libby as they head down into turns 3 and 4. The field's starting to get a bit spread out here, and we'll probably be approaching pit stops in just about 10 laps, maybe a little bit less. And it's going to be a 2-stop race, I believe. But right now it is Donovan Strauss leading the low line, and that's got about 10 to 15 cars in it, spread out all the way back to Derek Justice and Dylan Parker, who now draft nose to tail in 18th and 19th positions. And in the second lane, we have about 4 to 6 drivers at any given moment. And that's being headed up by the 61 of Kirk Marble. A lot of fans in chat for Kirk Marble. Ryan Libby also has fans here. And right now, Libby falling back a little ways, but Kirk Marble right here on the front lines, trying to capture the lead. And he has led 1 lap after starting on the pole. Now looking to lead another one, has the nose out in front, and he will do so. Across the start-finish line, 2 laps led now for the driver of the 61. As they push nose to tail here, those front 4 or 5 cars. Chris Samard just a little ways back from Nicholas Short, trying to chase them down and give a little bit of help to the middle lane. And no third lane working right now, just the 2, top and bottom. And not a whole lot of action right now, basically just trading the lead between Kirk Marble and Donovan Strauss, as everybody pretty content to stay where they are running. Now the third lane opening back up, that is the number 72 of Eric Royce. Royce looking to make something happen here as he comes in 2 points outside of the cut line behind Connor Horn, and Connor currently running back in 12th, Eric running in the 6th position, starting in 13th here and up 7 spots, 26 laps in. Eric trying to be aggressive on the opening laps, try and get towards the front. He rides in the third lane with a push from Josh Peak and Ryan Libby. A little bit of a bobble there from the 3. It's going to split those guys up, and they're going to lose a little bit of momentum, potentially drop down to the middle line here. Looks like Royce will. The 3 will pull down in line. Chris Samard trying to slot down into the low line, and he will do so. But out in front, Donovan Strauss has been your primary leader, 21 laps led out of the 26th in this race. He has a big push, big help from Keith Mayato the whole way, as well as the 77 Ryan Doucette in that 5th position. Doucette up 10 spots from where he started in 15th. Currently rides in the 5th position. And I don't believe Ryan, he has made a start here. It has been a long while since we've seen him out here, but the 77 Aflac machine doing a nice solid job working his way through the pack, and currently sitting 3rd in the low line. But looks like the 61 of Kirk Marble, another big push from Nicholas Short, and trying to take the lead away again at the line. I believe it was Kirk Marble does lead that lap by about 1,000th of a second, so very, very close at the line. And Kirk Marble takes it away for his 3rd lap lead, trying to upset the balance with the 50 or the 51 of Donovan Strauss leading the majority of the laps here. And when will they start to make their pit stop? Probably going to be a 2-stop race. As they work their way through the tri-oval here, you can see the separation of the 2 packs, and quite a ways back, still Matt Kemp, Zach Nichols, and Parker Tatro. Those 3 content to ride it out here on the tail end of the lead lap, 29 seconds behind your leaders. And they came down pit lane on lap number 1, but did not actually make a stop. As they work their way down the back straightaway, once again, Kirk Marble out in front. Eric Royce looking to get that 72 machine to the top spot, using the top lane not making enough progress up there, not enough cars to build up the momentum as he still rides in about 3rd to 5th position at any given moment. Now dropping back a little bit through the tri-oval. It is once again Donovan Strauss leading that lap. Kirk Marble in the 2nd position. Status quo among the top 5, but Eric Royce trying to get something going and find his way to the front. It has not worked yet, though. He needs more help up there, but obviously willing to make the move. Trying to see who his partners are here early. Connor Horn content to ride back in the 12th position. The number 8 machine started in 14th and not making a whole lot of progress, not making any moves just yet, knowing how much time is left in tonight's race and how important it is to at least come out of here with a finish. Hello, Jedi Jake. Thanks for tuning in. Donovan Strauss, Kirk Marble leading the way. The 36 machine of Keith Mayato still hanging out back there in the 3rd spot. Keith has been here all race long, but started back in 11th. So he got up here quickly and has stayed here. And currently riding in 3rd, where he sits in the points as well. So Keith's just hanging on, waiting for his opportunity to strike. Probably going to wait until much later in this race. And we will have to see when pit stops begin. Now 31, 32 laps on the board. Donovan Strauss continuing to show the way, and cars starting to get a bit more single file. You see Chris Samard back here in 10th. He drops down to the low line in front of Connor Horn, and then a small gap back to Dylan Parker, who leads about 7 or 8 cars. They work their way down the back straightaway once again. The tail end of this pack is Jacob Locklear, the number 84. And he has started to lose a little bit of touch here with Derek Justice. They look like they are checking out, maybe getting ready to come to pit lane here. And they do not, but it's a big check up there. Dropping below 190 miles an hour. And everybody playing it pretty conservatively in this front pack, and just the 3 cars half a lap down. Trying to avoid the big one, I believe. But big one has not happened, and they've put themselves in a very interesting position to try and have to catch up to see if they're able to do so. It's going to take a little bit of strategy, and definitely going to take a caution as well. Hope you guys are enjoying the broadcast. Once again, this is V-Speed live here on Twitch. Please consider following or subscribing as we have cars coming down the pit lane. And everybody safely onto the pit lane as, let's see who is leading the way here. It looks like the 8 of Connor Horn pulling into his pit box. Looks like he overshot it pretty significantly. Overshot it by 1 whole box. And that is going to cost him precious time here, and maybe going to cost him the draft. As we see Ian Smith, Joseph Sizek rolling off the pit lane. There goes Ryan Libby, Eric Royce, and Connor Horn. A bad mistake here, as he is in the fight for making the playoffs, as Keith Mayato is not going to come to the pit lane. He and Derek Justice going to remain on the racetrack. Everybody else comes down here, and everyone getting onto the pit road at pit road speed. Looks like a good job there. Ryan Doucette leads this pack, currently sitting in 3rd as he pulls into his box right behind Connor Horn, and Connor Horn still sitting on pit lane. And I do not know what happened to Connor, but now pulls off pit road 54 seconds behind. And he is going to be in an interesting spot as we are approaching halfway. Connor Horn going to be on the outside looking in terms of the playoffs. It's Keith Mayato, Derek Justice going 1 more lap. see how much farther they elect to go, but looks like they're going to bring it in this time. So Mayato, Derek Justice pulling it down here. Derek Justice charging hard on the pit lane. He locks it up. Keith Mayato braking to avoid contact there, but Derek Justice going to actually make a pass on pit entry, but we've seen Derek make mistakes on pit road here or at these plate tracks, so we need to make sure he didn't get any kind of speeding penalty as he sits in his box. And no penalty, a 14.9 second stop. Keith Mayato taking 4 tires as well. He gets rolling out of his box. Derek Justice trying to get some grip underneath those Goodyear Eagles as they pull out onto the racetrack. Donovan Strauss leading the pack of cars that have already pitted now, and they are going to easily bypass Derek Justice and Keith Mayato. It's a large pack working here, and Mayato and Justice are going to have to be very careful that they don't lose the draft entirely. And I think they're going to have to get close nose to tail. Looks like they might be able to catch the tail end of this as we have cars that are kind of straggling back here, but Mayato going from 3rd now back to the 13th position. Derek Justice right about where he entered the pits. But at the front, Joseph Sizek now takes the lead of the bottom line. 51 machine of Donovan Strauss jumping up to the high line, and he gets shuffled out. And Joseph Sizek looking to lead this thing, but Nicholas Short fighting back on the high line. Trying to get it done here, and he will take the lead. Joseph Sizek unable to fight against that push from the high line, and now they approach Connor Horn, who goes a lap down and will be the only car 1 lap down, so he is hoping for a caution so he can get back on the lead lap here. Chance to fight for his spot in the playoffs, but right now on the outside looking in as the 99 of Nicholas Short almost making contact with Donovan Strauss right in front of him. That would have been catastrophic. Joseph Sizek now jumps to the lead. That number 53 car. And to recap here, we have had 15 lead changes, but no cautions in this race. Everybody doing an excellent job of maintaining control and composure here in the first half, but Anthony Burrows now jumps to the outside. A big push from Ryan Doucette. Down here in turns 1 and 2, approaching halfway. Things starting to get a little bit chippier now. 3 lines forming. Kirk Marble up there on the outside all by himself. And the 51 of Donovan Strauss making a bold move down to the inside. He throws the block on 53 of Sizek. Now 3 lines once again. Sizek jumps up behind Kirk Marble to form that second lane. And here comes the 3 of Josh Peak to give them some aid. Up there on the high line, 51 of Strauss now jumps up, and he wants to get back to the front. They're leading so much of this race, 23 laps out of the 37, and Anthony Burrows now out front for his 3rd lap led. The points leader has once again found his way to the front of another race. Burrows absolutely on a hot streak all season. It seems to be unstoppable, even here at Talladega. Currently leading that low line, Donovan Strauss with a great push from Kirk Marble. Gets out in front down the back straightaway. See if he can hang on here. As they go side by side through turns 3 and 4. Anthony Burrows once again pulling ahead. We got 4 rows side by side and then some stragglers back here. Number 11 of Jaden Kratacci finds himself inside the top 10. That number 11 car, Presley Gilson, in 9th position, and Tyler Logan rounding out the top 10. Right behind them, it was Derek Justice and Keith Mayato who went on pit lane together. And luckily for Derek, no mistakes. Although it looked like it could have been a speeding on entry, it looks like he was just able to get that thing wound down. Keith Mayato in 12th, Ian Smith in 13th. And then Dylan Parker here, last car in this pack in 14th position, and he is fighting to stay in the draft. A bit farther back, we have multiple cars that Not sure what happened exactly, but currently over 9 seconds back is Eric Royce, Ryan Libby, Jacob Locklear, and then Chris Simard, Matt Kemp. Chris Simard has lost the draft. He is all by himself. Matt Kemp, Zach Nichols, Parker Castro all 36 seconds back. Connor Horn already documented 1 lap down after a mistake on pit lane. Sitting there for 54 seconds, not sure what happened. And he's fighting to get back on the lead lap. And fighting to be in contention for a spot in the playoffs as he comes in two points on the inside of the cut line, but currently not in great shape. Last car in the field in 20 seconds. And Connor Horn looking for a miracle. He wants a caution but doesn't want to be in it. He is right in the thick of the race for the lead at the moment, currently where the 6th place car would be if he were on the lead lap. You can see there, 22nd position, started in 14th from the mistake on pit road, putting him 1 lap down. As he is the only driver 1 lap down. And I'm not sure what happened to Eric Royce and this other pack of cars that put them 10 seconds back, but must have been a mistake just exiting the pit lane or slow exit compared to the rest of the field. As now the 84 are going to jump up high, and he's going to go to the back of this 3-car group. And Eric Royce going to push Ryan Libby as they fight to try and keep up with the top 15, but currently just over 11.5 seconds behind. So also going to be hoping for some type of a caution, and luckily far enough back to not be involved. The 62 of Anthony Burrows now on the high line. He goes up there to block the 61 of Kirk Marble. And here comes Donovan Strauss and give him a shove in the middle of the corner. Donovan Strauss, an incredibly talented driver. We see him all over in official races and other leagues, and one of the top drivers in the sim. As he goes now to the outside, going to take the lead away. I don't believe Donovan has really any starts here in this series. Actually, I stand corrected. 7 starts here this season. His last one at Kansas 2 weeks ago. So Donovan has made some starts. Before that, it wasn't until before the break that we had. He raced at Chicagoland, and then various races before that as well. But Donovan has not had a good finish here, even finishing only 1 lap at Iowa before he took it behind the wall, and he has only finished 1 race, and that was at Auto Club, finishing in the 21st position. So he is looking for a solid run here, potentially his first victory and maybe in first top 10, which is not something we'd expect to hear about Donovan, but luck has not been on his side this season, so he currently fights it out for the top spot. Kirk Marble up in the high line, Donovan Strauss down low, as they're starting to get side by side once again, about 4 rows deep, and then single file beyond that. So Dylan Parker did fight his way up here inside the pack. That was Keith Mayato back here as the last car in this lead pack at 14th. Eric Royce jumps up to 15th now. He passes up Ryan Libby and the 84 of Jacob Locklear. But everything has been clean and green as we pass the halfway point. If you haven't already, cheer on your favorite driver in the chat. Let us know who you are rooting for, and we'll give you a shout out on the broadcast to let the drivers know that you're rooting for them. Out in front is Kirk Marble. Now Connor Horn fighting to get back on the lead lap the hard way. Try and lead this field he is right there on the tail end of the lead lap. Even if the caution came out now, he would get it back due to the lucky dog, but he wants to be able to fight his way back up there and pit with these guys on the same lap, but not able to get the speed, get the push from the 53. Now down the back straightaway is getting a nice solid push here as Sisek looks to try and capture the lead away from Kirk Marble. The 8 does put the nose out in front, though not on the same lap. Kirk Marble probably thankful that that is the case, as he really doesn't have any competition with the 53 stuck behind the 8 and 51 stuck behind him. Nowhere for any of these guys to go to make a move, and he's going to lead some laps here after starting on the pole. Kirk Marble. We're going to put our point standings up here once again. Anthony Burrows, like mentioned before, comes in with 5 wins on the season and well out in front in terms of the points lead. As we see Donovan Strauss actually jump out of line, that's going to allow the top line to get a huge run. That's going to shake things up, but Kirk Marble comes in here inside the playoff cutoff line and probably pretty comfortable in that spot. Connor Horn comes in 2 points above, but currently on the tail end of the lead lap in front of the leaders, and currently would be scored on the outside of that cutoff with Eric Royce running up there inside the top 15. It would be close, but he would definitely be pushed out. Everybody else there inside the top 9 is locked in. Everyone outside the top 15 is eliminated from playoff contention. They're not eliminated from competing for the rest of the year, and we'd like to see all those drivers continue to participate. But at the front, Connor Horn really fighting as hard as he possibly can to get back on the lead lap here. He's got a push from Nicholas Short. Donovan Strauss now jumping back in line, gives a huge shove to the 61 as they make their way out of turn number 4 down the short chute here into the tri-oval. That extra 1/10 of a mile that we get over Daytona, this section of the racetrack that either makes or breaks races for people. As the 51 dumps the 61 up there on the high line, going to leave him to get a push from the 53 and the 77 as the top 6 have broken away a bit over Josh Peak. And I'm not exactly sure what happened here, but quite the separation among those top 5, top 6 cars there. And Josh Peak with a push from Dylan Parker. Jaden Kratacci here with a push from the 19 Presley Gilson, almost looking like a little bit of tandem drafting like we saw from the car tomorrow a long while ago. And we saw a little bit of that in practice as well, so let's see if that comes into play here as the race progresses and we get closer and closer to the end. But currently 51 laps in, no cautions, everybody doing an excellent job of racing cleanly. Donovan Strauss out in front, leading the way. We're going to cut quickly to a short commercial break and be right back with more green flag action.
Crockett Creek Beef Jerky, we don't have fancy Madison Avenue advertising. We don't have famous Hollywood endorsements. We don't have mythical creatures as mascots. See, here at Crockett Creek, we're proud of what we don't have. No artificial preservatives or chemicals, gluten-free, and no added MSG. Just all natural, small batch protein made in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains. Enjoy Crockett Creek Jerky, from our backyard to yours.
want to remind you once again to check out Below the Double Yellow, a brand new podcast for NASCAR fans by NASCAR fans on Apple Podcasts and Spotify or wherever you like to find your podcasts. Check out Below the Double Yellow. It's going to be a brand new podcast coming up in the near future. So check those guys out. Give them your support. We are sponsoring them, and they're a proud sponsor of eSpeed. Head on over and check them out. But racing continuing here, 54 laps in the books. As Donovan Strauss leading the way on the low line, looking for his first victory. And Kirk Marble in the same boat, looking for his first. And we had some pretty intense action as that second group of cars caught up to the top six. And Connor Horn still trying to find his way back on the lead lap. He is still racing it up with these guys. He probably doesn't like what he sees up the road with Matt Kemp, Eric Royce, Zach Nichols, Parker Tatro, and Chris Samard all over 40 seconds behind. And this group of race cars, 17th through 21st, in danger of going a lap down here in probably about 5 to 10 laps. You can see the field there in the background. Definitely not where you want to be at this point in the race, and these guys probably not too happy that they have lost the draft or that their strategy has not worked out to this point. And that initial caution has not happened, but Ryan Doucette jumps out in front, the number 77 car. Doucette trying to lead some laps here. He starts back in the 15th position now to the top spot, but Kirk Marble with the big push from Donovan Strauss on the high line. They are going to try and power back around, and they will for the moment. But Doucette not going to take the point. The 51 of Donovan Strauss tries to leave the 61 hanging in. 61 of Kirk Marble sees that coming from a mile away. He jumps down in the line to throw the block, and now Donovan Strauss jumps outside but tucks back in line. So very bold move to try and fake that. Try and get the 61 to throw another block. They work their way down the back straightaway into turn 3. It is nose to nose. Dylan Parker now leading the outside line. And Dylan, winner at Daytona, started on the outside of the front row here, but has been hanging back, waiting for his opportunity. And now 56 laps into it, he's decided it's time to come to the front, and he's bringing Connor Horn there with him. Donovan Strauss looking to make the move. Does not jump out there just yet. Dylan Parker going to let the 8 car in front of him. Dylan just going to drop back once again. So Dylan just trying to get the feel for drafting up through the pack, understand what that car does when it gets out in clean air. And he hangs back here. Going to probably slot in right around Pete Maotto and Anthony Burrows, the tail end of this lead pack. Ian Smith also up here with this group in the 14th position. Ian has been hanging out just outside the top 10 the majority of the race. So he comes up here to give the 25 a little bit of help, catch the draft from him, and get back in line with everyone else. And that group of cars up in front, that group of 5 or 6, continues to lose time. Chris Samard, last car on the lead lap in the number 37 machine. He did lead a lap earlier in this race, but an issue with the pit cycle. He finds himself well behind the lead pack here. Also, Eric Royce, not what he wanted to see either. Only 2 spots in front of Connor Horn, and that would tie them on points. Not sure who the tiebreaker would go to in terms of making the playoffs, but Eric Royce got to be a little bit careful here, as now he does gain a couple positions over the 48 and 98. And Ryan Libby currently in the 16th position. He is 27 seconds back, racing it up with Jacob Locklear. And not sure what happened to these guys, but not able to keep up with the lead pack through the pit cycle. And we are approaching 60 laps in this race. Might see some pit stops in the next 5 to 10 laps. front, it is Connor Horn who gets himself back on the lead lap for the moment, but Kirk Marble trying to put a stop to that. He comes to the outside of Donovan Strauss. No help, but still making that car work out there. And he is working the side draft to perfection, trying to suck right up to the 8 car and trying to attract some help up there on the high line, but nobody is going with him, and we will probably start to fade here in just a minute. As here comes Sizek, the 53 car. Now Strauss jumps out to throw the block on that high line and get a little bit of a push. Kirk Marble, and that will put the 8 car 1 lap down once again. If you guys are enjoying the broadcast, please consider following or subscribing here on VSpeed. We are live every Wednesday with the NorseForce Valhalla Cup Series. You can also find us on YouTube at VSpeed Media, where we post race replays and other interesting automotive and racing content. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where we post race announcements as well as on-site reporting and other racing news throughout the week. So check us out on those platforms. Stay up to date with what we are doing. Now in front it is Donovan Strauss continuing the lead, and Donovan has been the driving force here in this race. 34 laps led out of 60, and looking to try and capture most laps led, and I believe he will do so. But going up the racetrack now, we've seen Donovan have a little bit of trouble hanging on to that race car. Looks like this was an active decision to get out of the way, and now drops back in line in around the 5th position. So interesting move. Kirk Marble takes the lead once again. He's got a push from Joseph Sizek in the high line. Driver we have not talked too much about, Tyler Logan, the number 5 car. He started in the 21st position, basically shotgun on this field, and currently up in the 13th spot here in the lead pack. And Tyler looking for a nice solid run. I believe he had one over the last couple weeks. Let's see if we can take a look here. Just 6 starts this season, but did earn a top 5 at Kansas just 2 weeks ago, and he has a few top 10s on the season. So not been too bad of a year here. 6 starts, 3 top 10s. Can't complain about that. And he currently rides in the 14th position. All right, in front of him, Presley Gilson, the number 19 Castrol machine. He starts in 19th up to 13th right now. And Presley only 2 starts on the season, but both top 10s. So he has had a pretty solid season, just a very short one, but once again up here in contention, 13th position at the moment, as he follows Jaden Protacci around here, the number 11 machine, trying to earn his best finish of the season. Keith Maiato up here in the 11th position. Ian Smith now finds his way into the top 10, giving a big push to Dylan Parker. And Derek Justice starts making his way forward as well, up to the 6th spot. Derek trying to get out to the point here, probably before the pit cycle starts. And we do have this group of cars 43 seconds behind, and they're about 6 or 7 seconds out in front of your leaders. Let's take a look out in the back bumper from Chris Samard. You might be able to see there are the leaders. And they're losing about 0.2 of a second a lap to the top 14. And looks like Connor Horn. Ryan Libby now a lap down. Looks like he made a pit stop just 1 lap ago, all by himself. Actually, Jacob Locklear as well. And they're probably going to end up very close to each other on the speedway, but going to be scored off the lead lap for the moment. And we'll await the pit stops by the leaders here, probably coming up in the next couple laps. just under 20 to go now, coming to 15 to go, actually, to the end of this race. Want to give a big shout out to our sponsors. Once again, we know the folks at Crockett Creek Beef Jerky are tuning in, so check them out. You can find the link in the chat there. Get yourself some delicious beef jerky with Crockett Creek Beef Jerky. As this field continuing to work under green, no cautions yet. The 29 lead changes, so it has been competitive at the front. And right now, Joseph Sizek trying to find his way out in front, and he will do so for the moment. Drops down in front of Kirk Marble, and that's going to stack up that inside line. They make their way around through turns 3 and 4. And out the nose of Joseph Sizek. That is that group of cars on the tail end of the lead lap. Kirk Marble now powering around the outside, as he has led quite a few laps here. Definitely his best performance of the year. Comes in just inside the top 12 in 11th in the standings, and these are actually the first laps that Kirk has led all season. So he has a top 5 on the year and 5 top 10s. Does not count his way to the front. But now doing so when it counts here, the last regular season race. Trying to capture a victory here and get some momentum going into the playoffs. He's got a lot of fans in the chat right now, so putting on a show for them as he brings it down the pit lane. And they all slow it up here. Good job getting onto pit lane. Looks like Connor Horn also coming down here. He's going to try and stay with the lead pack. And hopefully not make the same mistake on pit lane. Looks like he does get into his box. You're not going to have any problems there. As Anthony Burrows leading the field now. Derek Justice, the top 2 in points, showing the way. Nicholas Short, Keith Mato, Josh Peak, Presley Gilson out there in this pack as well. And they are going to bring it down here. I think that's going to be basically everyone. Derek Justice, once again, just absolutely pushing the envelope as he locks that car down, gets it slowed down to pit road speed. And actually going to make the pass on Anthony Burrows. So Derek doing everything he can to gain as much time as possible. And we've got cars sliding through the boxes. The 5 of Tyler Logan slides through his. And the 11 machine also making a mistake there. Derek Justice, a short 6.2 second pit stop. And we'll see who else is on the same strategy. It looks like Zach Nichols, Keith Mayato, and a handful of others, as some do sit on the pit lane and get looks like a bit more fuel, or 12-second pit stops from some of these cars and 6-second pit stops from others. We'll see if that's a winning strategy as Derek Justice now takes the top spot away. We'll wait for this second pack to try and catch up. Ryan Doucette leading Donovan Strauss. And then Dylan Parker, Anthony Burrows hooked up as they just made their pit stop. Mixture of strategies. It's going to be interesting to see how it all works out. And at the top of the leaderboards here is Derek Justice and Keith Mayato. Looks like the 44, Zach Nichols, actually a lap down. And Zach has to be thankful that he has those 3 straight second place finishes that have really bumped him up well inside the cutoff line and probably safe from any type of possibility of getting knocked out. So he currently rides in 19th off the lead lap here. And we'll see what he does to try and stay there. Right now, the top 2 out in front. Nicholas Short in 3rd. He's getting caught by Ryan Doucette and Donovan Strauss. And they're going to go right around in the 99. Going to try and latch on to the back of the 51. And he will most likely be able to do so. But Nicholas Short, the 99, hangs on here in the top 5. Looks like he does catch the draft. Anthony Burrows a couple seconds back. And He has about 4 or 5 cars in tow. Some of them lap cars, some of them lead lap cars. And they currently ride 6th through, looks like 10th in this pack right here. We've got a top 2 breakaway, and then we've got 3 cars, and then we've got 6 cars. And just under 10 to go. Looks like this could be the winning strategy. Just 2 tires stop or no tires. 44 Zach Nichols jumps to the inside of Derek Justice as they catch up to this pack on the tail end of the lead lap. Definitely going to help them out in terms of numbers. They're probably going to be faster than about anyone else while also maintaining a huge lead. But getting caught up in this mixture of lap cars will be very interesting to see what happens if they just try and ride here. And just about 10 cars here. Derek Justice going to jump to the bottom. Keith Maiato, the only one in contention to fight him for the win. And he does have a teammate in the pack here, Chris Samard, you see leading the pack of cars, the V-Speed machines. Samard on the tail end of the lead lap. Keith Maiato right on the front end of the lead lap. And a mixture of strategies definitely not working for some of the other drivers. Donovan Strauss now leading what's going to turn into about a 9-car pack, and we'll see if they can catch up. But 7.2 seconds is the gap. Probably going to be insurmountable. You see that distance. And with what's going to be 7 laps to go, it's going to be very, very difficult to gain an entire second lap when these guys are already running 49.5s, which is pretty close to the fastest times on track. So Derek Justice going to try and weave his way through and fight to hang on to this lead. Keith Maiato looking for his first victory, and I believe this would be his best finish of the season if he can capture a runner-up here. He was on this trajectory going into last week with a 5th, 4th, and 3rd, and ended up with a 9th at New Hampshire after a little bit of issue. But looks like he might be able to get that 2nd place finish here tonight, or possibly 1st place as he works on the low line. Derek Justice up in the high line. He's kind of boxed in up there. Maiato try and make a move already and just put himself out in front of these lap cars. As everyone else is losing time, these are the only 2 that are going to have a shot at it. Who is going to take the victory? Is there going to be a caution here that shakes things up? Now Maiato and Samard trying to get connected, and we'll see what they can do. The V-Speed machines do get hooked up. Down on the low line, Derek Justice stuck behind Eric Royce. And Royce is fighting for his spot in the playoffs here, currently 17th. Connor Horn rides in 20th. That would be enough for Royce to find his way in. Connor Horn, potentially going to get knocked out. Chris Samard making contact with the 48. Samard able to hang on. What a save. But let's just check that out again. They make a little bit of contact. Samard goes sliding down the apron. What a save by Chris. But that is going to eliminate any kind of help for Keith Maiato. So Maiato left to fight it out with Derek Justice mano-a-mano. And Maiato has now led 3 laps. Derek Justice in the 2nd position. You see him up there in the high line. And what is going to be the place to be at the end? 5 to go, coming to 4 to go this time. You can see these guys fighting for position right in front. Eric Royce in the 72, he is fighting for everything that he can to try and point his way in. Connor Horn currently sits in 19th and would be knocked out. But if Eric Royce loses any positions, that spells the end of his playoff chances as well. But Keith Mayato with a bit of an advantage here. Derek Justice working the high line. 4 laps to go here. This mixture of lap cars with 2 leaders. Very odd scenario. You don't see very much at these large super speedways. But it seems like the lap cars could potentially make the difference in who wins this race. Who are they going to help out? Is it going to be Derek Justice? Is it going to be Keith Mayato? And it is looking like Mayato with a pretty good advantage down low, even with just the 1 car of Zach Nichols. These drivers all fighting to stay on the lead lap in front of them. And Nichols and the 48 of Matt Kemp leading the way. But Mayato is your leader. Derek Justice in second. We see him right up there in the high line. He led 8 laps in this race after starting back in 22nd. Mayato started in 11th. He's led 5 laps now. And just 3 to go. Coming to 2 to go. This is going to get very dicey among this field. Eric Royce, like we mentioned, trying to hang on for everything he can. Connor Horn up to 18th now, and that would tie it up going into the points or the playoffs. Eric Royce needs to gain a spot. Derek Justice looking for the win. He needs to find his way up there. And here comes Ryan Libby. If Libby gets by Royce, it is all said and done for the 72 machine. And now we have 3 cars on the bottom, 4 on top. Mixture of lead lap and lap cars, but Derek Justice starting to lose some ground here. What is the plan for the 31? He's going to have to find his way forward. Keith Mayato is now boxed in, not going to have anywhere to go. Derek Justice going to have to call on someone for help here. Things are getting interesting now, coming to the white flag. We see the 72 up high. He's out in front of Derek Justice. The 46 of Ryan Libby trying to get there. He captured another position. Connor Horn now up to 18th. Here goes Royce. That's going to leave Derek Justice in the middle. It's going to be close between these two. White flag in the air. The 31 trying to give the 48 a push to get to the front. But Eric Royce going to lose some spots here. That's going to allow the 84 machine to go right on past, but he is actually 2 laps down. Ryan Libby drops to the apron. Not sure what he is doing, but that's going to give a spot back to the 72. It's going to be very close on points to make it into the playoffs. It's also going to be close for the victory as Derek Justice up on the high line. Keith Mayato down low. Who is going to take the victory? Justice pulling forward. But is Keith Mayato going to get the run down low? He's going to give a big push to the 44 across the line. It's going to be Derek Justice with the victory. And redemption for the podium. Esports Daytona 500 mistake. He takes the victory here at Talladega. Derek Justice, his second victory. Keith Mayato just a little bit short, 37 thousandths behind the 31 machine. Mayato, nice solid run here. He just did not have the right line at the right time. And it looks like Connor Horn finishes, or is starting to, he comes across the line. Very damaged race car. Finishes 18th. Eric Royce comes home 16th. We'll have to see how points shake out. We're going to have to wait for race control to determine the playoff grid. And hopefully they can do that sooner rather than later. But your winner here, Derek Justice, started 22nd. He leads only 9 laps in a fight to the end with Keith Mayato. Sees the 31 machine come out on top. What a run for Derek Justice. That is shotgun on the field. Back to the front, as he would like to say. Going to start in the back. Give it his best shot, and he did so here tonight, capturing win number 2 for the 31 car this year. And what a battle. Thank you for the follow. D. Strauss 51. Donovan Strauss, thanks for tuning in. Good run out there. And Donovan Strauss does come home 4th here tonight. But Derek Justice is going to take the victory. Awaiting his burnout celebration here if he chooses to do so. Getting that thing ready to go. There it is. Might not have enough fuel. I'm not sure what's going on. But either way, he takes home the victory tonight. We're going to cut to a commercial break and come back for post-race interviews.
With the ButtKicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. ButtKicker, the future is feeling.
Crockett Creek Beef Jerky, we don't have fancy Madison Avenue advertising. We don't have famous Hollywood endorsements. We don't have mythical creatures as mascots. See, here at Crockett Creek, we're proud of what we don't have. No artificial preservatives or chemicals, gluten-free, and no added MSG. Just all natural, small batch protein made in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains. Enjoy Crockett Creek Jerky, from our backyard to yours.
Okay, we're going to keep this quick.
Because at Blaze Pizza,
Artisanal quality at crazy fast speed is what we're all about.
Fresh dough made from scratch daily.
Walk the line and choose any toppings you'd like.
It's all one price.
Then it's just 180 seconds in our blazing hot oven.
For fast fire perfection.
That's Blaze Pizza. Sound good?
Then come check us out and build your own pizza at Blaze Pizza.
And we are back here, going to be pulling up our race winner here tonight, Derek Justice. Give him a second to get himself ready. But Derek Justice, this is Adam, the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I sure do.
Hey Derek, this must feel pretty good. We know, I know about the mistake in the Podium Esports Daytona 500, but no mistakes here. You start in last place on the field. You drive through the pack, lead the last 9 laps, and a nail-biter finish. How did you get it done here tonight?
Just really fuel-saving mode the first 3 quarters of the race, because I knew this race is going to go down to a fuel strategy race that people are going to take the less fuel mile, and the last stop is one's going to get a big jump on the rest of the field, and me and Keith Miato were the ones that stayed out the extra lap. I could have gone another lap after him on that first run, but I decided to pit with him. So it's just all about strategy, getting the pits, getting the pits as best as you can, and I felt like I did that today, and so did Keith. So when we had that last pit stop, we had about a good 5-second gap over the field, and we were fortunate to catch some lap cars, and it was just a battle between me and him with the mix of people are virtually going a lap down, but they have every right to stay on a lead lap too, so I don't blame them racing us.
Yeah, and that made it very interesting because usually it's just lead lap cars fighting for the win or, in that position at the end. So what were you trying to do? Were you working with anyone specifically, or were you just, trying to stay in that high line to get the run when it mattered at the end?
I was just making sure the amount of fuel I took to the end of regulation was enough, and I wanted to save just a little bit the closing laps, but when it was 2 to go, I said okay. Well, with 2 to go, I said keep the engine cool. Then on the last lap, whoever's in front of you, push wherever you need to push, get ahead of Keith. And Keith told me he was trying to save too, so we were pretty close on fuel. I had enough fuel just to do one burnout, as you can see. So really shout out to the lap car, especially Eric, that on the last lap he can't get any more spots. Eric out of the way, I really appreciate that. And Matt Camp, I just use him as a shield, and hopefully I can push him harder than Keith and push the guy out as he was pushing. So we just got the victory.
Yeah, and it worked out great, and completely in your favor there at the end. You win by 37 thousandths, and you take the victory here at the Superspeedway in the final race of the regular season. We head to the playoffs next week at Charlotte. What are your thoughts on going out there and starting that segment of the season?
It depends what the setup, what the conditions are, and what setup they provide us at Charlotte. I can't remember if it's a day or night race, but Charlotte's it's one of those tracks where you can be really aggressive or be really passive, just depending on how the race is playing out. And obviously, for people that know, I've been having PC issues the past 5-6 days and stuff, so I'm not too happy to get back to that. I've been working countless sleepless nights trying to figure it out, and I can't get to work still. So I did blink out. According to people, I did blink out twice during that race. So yeah, just trying to get the stuff situated, and then you can, not worry about it, but still have it, cured it.
Yeah, 10-4. I think I noticed one time, but obviously you're still powering through it. You get the victory, so not affecting you mentally too much, it seems like, and I think you'll get those. Hopefully get those sorted out here soon. But yeah, you come home with the win here, second win of the season. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for tonight's victory?
Yeah, shout out to, of course, Beast Pizza, Adam. Thank you for putting all this on, all your hard work and stuff. And of course, Toyota, Baskin Robbins, Pure Elite Tea, my Twitch chat, my Twitch supporters, I really appreciate it, sticking by me while we go through this horrific time trying to figure out what my problem is, and hopefully it'll be cured soon. So thank you.
Awesome, Derek. Well, congrats again on the win, and hopefully you do get those sorted out here, but we'll see you next week in Charlotte. One more
shout out. I'm always forgetting a shout out for Splash and Go Graphics for putting out this. He painted me into these fantastic race cars. So shout out to Splash and Go Graphics. If you don't know who he is, it's Cosman ISU. He does a fantastic work. If you want any paints done, I do request him to do some work. Get yourself a car from him. He does a fantastic job.
Yeah, definitely paints up some great iconic Baskin Robbins schemes that we see all across the sim. So you put that Baskin Robbins car in victory lane, so go celebrate, and we'll catch you next week at Charlotte.
All right, thanks, Adam.
That was your winner here tonight, Derek Justice. Let's go to second place finisher. That is Keith Mayato. We'll bring him up here in the booth. Keith Mayato, this is Adam, the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
10-4.
Well, Keith, we got a little insight onto what was going on there in those last handful of laps. Both you and Derek were saving fuel. You kind of got stuck down in the low line, and Derek was able to just get by you there on the last lap. But what was the idea behind the strategy there, and what did you think you had to do there to hold Derek off?
Well, the idea of the strategy was all Derek, really. I guess that first pit stop, I stayed out. We were the only two that stayed out because I saved quite a bit running behind Donovan there on that first stint. And then we were on that same strategy the whole run. So we figured we'd work together, save as much fuel as we can, and it worked. We finished 1-2, and I tried to hold him off. My run was probably a little too late on pushing Nichols there at the end, but I think if I actually ran out of fuel probably at pit exit mark, so I'm kind of happy I didn't push any harder or any earlier on.
Yeah, just definitely calculated pretty close there. I know Derek said he barely had enough to get around, and he did one loop of his burnout. But you guys definitely played it right, and you earned your best finish of the season, a second place. Definitely been a long time coming, but very successful run here tonight. After starting mid-pack, you come home in second. We head to Charlotte next week. What are your thoughts on going out there to start the chase?
I usually feel pretty competitive. Not really my best track, but I guess the only mindset is finish top 8, right? Finish top 8 after the first round. So I'm gonna see what I can do my best. If I can win, that's a bonus. So right now it's aim for top 5s. That's my goal.
Yeah, and there's only 2 races in this first round, so it'll be interesting to see how things shake out points-wise going into that round, to see where you're seated, and then also see where everybody ends up at the end of that race next week. So we'll definitely keep an eye on you. Maybe you can capture your first victory over there. But you come home second here. You lead 7 laps. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for tonight's result?
Yeah, shout out to main sponsor V-Speed, Renegade Coffee Bar, yourself Adam for doing an awesome job on the broadcast, and everyone at NorseForce for putting all the hard work in every week to put this league.
Awesome, Keith. Well, congrats again on second place here. We'll see what you can do at Charlotte next week. Maybe capture that elusive first win of the year. But congrats. Go celebrate, and we'll see you then.
Thanks, Adam. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too. And that was second place finisher Keith Maato. We're going to go to third place finisher, Mr. Nicholas Short. Nicholas Short, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, for sure, Adam.
Well, Nick, you didn't play the strategy quite right in the end there, but you still come out with a nice solid podium finish. You ran up inside the top 5 all day, but what did it come down to in the end there with the strategy call and just missing on that?
Well, I had been working with not my teammate, but my friend Anthony Burrows for most of the race. I've been talking to him, and we decided that since he had pit about a lap or 2 earlier than me in the first wave of pit stops, that I could go another 2 laps like Derek and Keith did, but I decided, because I didn't know what strategy they were on. Derek had been he had just popped up on my relative for the first time towards the end of the race, so I didn't know what they were doing, what their agenda was. So I just went with Anthony, and unfortunately doing that gave those guys that 5-6 second lead, but there was no way for me to know. I didn't know what strategies each guys were on, but they did a great job pulling that off and saving the fuel and extending the runs long enough to make that happen.
Yeah, and definitely worked out in their favor, but you ended up the lead car in that second pack, a group of about 6 cars it looks like, and you end up with a nice solid third place run, your best of the season, tying the run at Bristol a few weeks back. And we head into the playoffs next week at Charlotte. So, what does the third place finish here tonight mean in terms of momentum going in there?
Well, it means I got a nice $4, so thank the league for the prize system you guys have. It's very nice. But no, I've had good momentum the last few weeks. I threw away a race at New Hampshire last week in an embarrassing fashion. Sorry to Derek, by the way. And no, I'm excited for the playoffs to start. I think I've got some good pace. Hopefully I could just stay consistent, stay out of trouble like I've been doing the last few weeks, and be in with a shot. I think that's what I need to do. I know my pace is there. It's just putting everything else together.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking at your stats for the season. Looks like you haven't started outside of the top 5 in the last it's like 8 or so races. So definitely really good in terms of the qualifying, and you've had 2 podiums in that same span. So you've had the speed, that's for sure, and definitely peaking at the right time this season, it looks like. So we'll have to see what you do at Charlotte, but come home third tonight. You do lead 1 lap. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for the podium finish?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Joseph Sizak, I believe. He was pushing me really well towards the end of the race, and that gave me the run I needed. Dylan L. Parker, same thing. Also, shout out to Anthony, who we were talking the whole race, and we coordinated strategy. Donovan, who's a friend of mine. Thanks to all of them, and also thanks to you guys. It's a testament of the league that we went 80 laps green at Talladega, and it just shows that we've got some quality guys in here. Yeah, the depth of the field the amount of cars we have might struggle a couple weeks, but the talent's certainly there. So
yeah, that definitely.
Thanks to you guys for putting everything on.
Definitely was on display tonight, like you said. A great 80-lap run to the finish, from start to finish, and you put on a good show yourself. Come home with the podium, so congrats on that. Go celebrate. We'll catch up with you next week at Charlotte.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm excited.
Awesome. We'll see you then. That was third place finisher Nicholas Short. Apologize for a little bit of a dry throat here. A lot of talking today. But Derek Justice does come home your winner. We're going to jump to the full rundown of the results here tonight, and we will get out of here. Once again, I want to thank our sponsors, Crockett Creek Beef Jerky, for putting on tonight's race, as well as Blaze Pizza, Next Level Racing, and the ButtKicker. And we're going to put a link to the ButtKicker's information there. You can save 20% on your purchase of ButtKicker products by using the code NORSE20 on the ButtKicker.com. And you can also save 20% on your purchase of Crockett Creek Beef Jerky products by using the code GIVEME20, which is a great discount code to use over there. So check it out and buy yourself some delicious beef jerky. They've been a great sponsor here, and hope they enjoyed the broadcast here tonight. Donovan, we usually just interview the top three, so you can head out here, but great run finishing in fourth there tonight. We did have 33 lead changes, no cautions in this race, 210 miles and 80 laps straight of green flag racing. So heck of a race by these guys. Derek Justice, Keith Mayato fighting it out to the bitter end, 37 thousandths of a second, and Derek Justice comes out on top. Keith Mayato finishes second. Nicholas Short comes home with his best run of the season again in third. Both Mayato and Nicholas Short tying or getting their best runs of the year. Donovan Strauss comes home in fourth. Dylan Parker finishes in the fifth position. Presley Gilson comes home in sixth. Anthony Burrows, your points leader, finishes right where he started in the seventh position. Joseph Sizak finishes in eighth. Josh Peak finishes ninth, and Ian Smith will round out the top 10. In 11th, it was Tyler Logan. 12th was Jaden Kratacci. 13th, Zach Nichols. 14th, Matt Kemp. 15th was Ryan Doucette. 16th was Eric Royce. And it's going to be very tight in terms of points. I'm not sure how they're going to do the tiebreaker, but Eric Royce comes home 16th. Ryan Libby 17th. And Connor Horn finishes in 18th after kind of a disastrous start to this race, making a mistake on the first pit stop. He does finish just 2 spots behind Royce, and that's going to tie them in terms of points, but we will have to see how things get organized and potentially get an update here soon from race control. I'll keep an eye out for that. But Connor Horn finishes in 18th. 19th was Chris Samard. He is going to be moving on to the playoffs. And Kirk Marble, after such a great race, makes a mistake, it seems like, in the pit cycle. And he comes home in the 20th position, 1 lap down. I'm not sure what happened to Kirk, but off the lead lap. In 21st, it was Jacob Locklear, 22nd, Parker Tatro. And that's going to do it for the starters here tonight. Both Morgan Baird and Lawrence Bridges did not start tonight's event. But once again, Derek Justice comes out on top. We want to thank you for tuning in here on V-Speed. We're going to be back next week with the Charlotte race, the beginning of the playoffs for these drivers. So don't want to miss that next week. Going to be some great action at that 1.5 mile track. We were live here tonight on Twitch. Please consider following or subscribing. I want to thank Donovan Strauss for the follow. Tune in on YouTube where we post race replays as well as other interesting automotive and racing content. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter where we post race announcements as well as on-site reporting and other racing news. So check us out over there and give us a follow on those platforms. And once again, we want to thank you for tuning in here to this race tonight in Talladega 210. where Derek Justice came out on top for the second time this year. And we will be back next week with the race at Charlotte. We're going to jump in with, I think, Derek's stream right now, if he is still on. Looks like he is not. So we're going to join one of our good friends here, Mr. David Schildhouse, to enjoy his racing content. And we will catch you all next week.